everyone from Chelsea Fan TV. My name is Alex. I'm outside Stamford Bridge with Nina after a 2-0 win against Sheffield in the Premier League. Clean sheet, 2 goals. Was it as perfect as the scoreline says, or is there a little bit more to talk about?
No is the answer to that, but the result we wanted. So here we are. Unfortunately, we're in positions now where we say 3 points are necessary, results are necessary. So we sort of brush the performances under the carpet a little bit. And I wish it wasn't that way. I wish our standards weren't this low, but unfortunately they are. But that first half was far from perfect. It was awful, I dare say, and I've never felt so deflated at half time. I've never felt so disappointed with what I saw. Everyone behind the ball, everyone static, nobody running in front, nobody trying to do anything. Lack of intention with passing, with trying to get anywhere near Brighton, Sheffield's box. And yes, they set up a deep block, and we knew this game would be difficult for that reason, but nobody was trying to even sort of try and get over their defensive line. It was that side-to-side football we saw many times last season. Nobody really wanting the ball as well, like a hot potato side-to-side. But yeah, thankfully, whatever Pochettino said to the players at half-time worked, because they came out on the pitch with more intensity, more idea for the ball, what to do with it. I thought Caicedo looked really good in our midfield today, and even though I was maybe a bit worried about Gallagher in the pivot with him, I thought that was okay in the most part in the second half. And yeah, trying to push forward, Cole Palmer creating. I think he struggled in the first half, but I mean, who really didn't in the first half? So it was good that he found his feet again. And do you know what? I'm just so happy, because in games like that where you think, where the hell is a goal coming from, you've got that one player that can make the difference, and that's so important. It's even what top teams this season have still managed to grind out results even when they haven't had good performances, because they have one player that can make the difference. For most teams, it's probably the striker. In our team, it's Cole Palmer, and that probably brings me on to our striker, who was offside 3 successive times in the space of 10-15 minutes. I think he was trying to do something, like his hold-up play was good at times, but again, he was missing in the middle, and Mudryk was trying to create chances and maybe cross it at times with things happening on that left side, but again, nobody there to finish it. And it's times like that where it's rare to be through on goal when you're trying to break down a low block, but when you are, you can't be wasteful with those chances, you know. But yeah, good. I mean, I thought
when you say wasteful, sorry, are you talking about Broha or Jackson?
Well, yeah, maybe the both of them, because Breuer missed that chance as well, didn't he, in the second half? But I think, you know, when Breuer was, he collected the ball like sort of at the halfway line, he made that great run forward, you know, he was on his own. Yeah. Jackson was also running with him, but he was running towards the wing. Yeah. Why are you running towards the wing, Jackson? You're supposed to be gravitating towards the penalty area to give more support to Breuer. Potentially that could have been another goal there. So I'm getting this whole thing with Jackson where his decision making is slow, like he doesn't know what to do, positionally unaware at times, and costly. Fair enough, you put the goal away, but I'm going to give more credit to Palmer, who, you know, followed that and made that pass to him. Open goal, okay, scored it, but again, it's what gets you the goals at the end of the day. So mixed feelings, but again, got the job done.
You have a good one, Jacob.
Hi, Jacob.
Yeah, I think that's a really good assessment. I mean, why do you think we're struggling to break teams down, even though we don't have congestion to deal with? Because coming into this season, we were so positive because of the fact we didn't have European football.
Yeah.
And without European football, we looked worse than we did with European football.
Yeah.
Why is that?
I can't explain it. I mean, with your question to why we struggle to break down low blocks, today I saw a bit of fear in the first half. Nobody really wanted the ball, and maybe you can blame that on the fact we didn't have fullbacks as well. And I mean, I know it's unfair to say Disasi doesn't overlap and he doesn't provide much support on the right-hand side to Palmer and Sterling. I get that, but at the same time, there wasn't much offered, you know, just a little bit of trying, and I guess that's where you're sort of inhibited a little bit, aren't you, with how much creativity you can have on the attacks. We know that when Reece James plays there, we do get more support. Those players can cut in, they can make the run forwards, but at the moment it's so sort of on the outskirts, you know, of the box, and it's side to side. And I guess Nkunku was a big game player, and Carney Chukwuemeka as well for doing that in pre-season, which is why we looked so good and why we were sold this dream, because they were able to sort of, you know, whip a ball in over the defensive line, someone to make that run. But, you know, I still will blame the fact that there isn't as much chemistry in this team, because did you see at times someone did make that forwards run, but they didn't really follow it through? Like the other player didn't make that overlap, or didn't see that pass to follow it up. And I guess that's where you say, oh, give them time, but it's frustrating sometimes because when it is created, it's just not finished off, you know. But today, okay, fair enough, 2-0, but I wish I didn't have to be so, like, I wish I could be a bit more critical of us today and say this isn't good enough for Chelsea. Like, we need to be coming in and winning these games easily, not having the dreadful first half that we are. No disrespect to Sheffield, but they're 20th and they've struggled big time this season. Yes, got a new manager back in, or an old manager that they've got much history with. Maybe going to get them playing a little bit better, but still, I like to think our standards are higher than what I'm feeling right now to say we must be beating Sheffield easily, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it is just a weird situation to be in, having spent so much money and still lacking quality, because that's the overriding theme. I feel like there is effort, but we just lack quality. What do we need to change in the January window in terms of our approach in transfers? And obviously, Pochettino is going to be looking for certain players as well. Yeah,
well, look, I get that, because at the end of the day, the players that we've got aren't all Poch players. They're not all players that he wanted, you know. He's been given these players and he's been asked, work out what they do. You can develop young players, do it. Unleash what Mudryk's like, unleash what Jackson can do, you know, unleash how Caicedo and Enzo can thrive together in midfield. And I get that these are all big jobs to have, but you like to think that the manager still has an idea of how to bring the best out of these young players, because we can't keep looking elsewhere. I do understand that we will need certain areas to address on the pitch, and you know, the striker already is a big conversation there, because frankly it isn't good enough, but we can't keep looking elsewhere for our problems internally to be fixed. You know, I like to think we've got a good bunch of players, we've got young players that have talent. Otherwise, I mean, recruitment, what have you been doing, you know? And look, it's difficult because they're young, but at the end of the day, you've spent $1 billion and you still like to believe that there is enough quality in this team to not be 12th for the rest of the season.
100%, 100%. I mean, one of the key players that I think Pochettino is trying to slowly, not turn into the main man, but, you know, I think people underestimate Mudryk. I'll be honest with you. I know I pronounce his name wrong. Everyone always, everyone always tells me in the comments. I can't help it. I can't help it. But for me, he had a really good game, and I think that people take it with a pinch of salt when he does good things, and I understand that you get your ups and downs with a player like that, but when it clicks, it clicks. And I think slowly but surely he is becoming a player that we can rely on. And well, hopefully he could be a player that actually starts winning us matches rather than, you know, just going on the highlight reel.
No, I agree with you, and I've been Mudryk's biggest advocate. You know, I'm still going to back him, and I'm still all here for his development, because I do see a player in him. There's so much potential. You even saw today at times, you know, he takes on his man, he does this really cool trick and flick, and then he nearly took someone out in the shed end. But, you know, it's at the end of the day, you still try. And he's received so much criticism this whole season, back when even like Graham Potter was trying him out, back when Frank Lampard was bringing him on for 10-15 minutes. But, you know, you only grow as a player if you're given starts, and you start. And that's why I said today the only good thing about Enzo not starting was that Mudryk got to start as well, because we know that Palmer, Sterling, Mudryk on the same pitch with Jackson, never going to happen if Gallagher or Enzo are not on the pitch, or Caicedo. So that was the one good thing, and it balances out pace on the wings as well. You know, you've got Palmer there in the 10 to create for them. That's where you should be having that power to break down low blocks, and it will come. I like to think it will come, but I'm absolutely backing Mudryk here, because there is so much quality, and you know what, there's desire as well. He wants to prove himself here, and we see it, and that's enough. Following from last season when we had so many players that didn't want to be here, for me it's enough that you actually want to be here and prove yourself at Chelsea. So I'd keep him. I wouldn't loan him out. I'd keep him right here at Chelsea and see what he can do here. If anyone can work out where he fits best, I like to think it's Pochettino.
100%. I mean, would you continue doing what Poch has done today, which is, you know, could be an interesting one for the owners to think about, because obviously you want your most expensive players to play. But I mean, with Fernandes not being in there, it does give the players up top more of a license to be creative, because you've got better players around you. You know, having Mudryk and Sterling, as you said, it evens out the pace. It creates more problems for other teams, and Palmer's better as a 10 than he is as a winger. He has more experience playing in those positions, although I will say I like him as a winger as well. I mean, how would you approach the midfield situation? Because Caicedo, Enzo and Gallagher so far have been undroppable.
And we've still got Lavia to see as well when he makes his return one day. And look, that's good. It's a welcome problem to have. We need depth in our midfield, and we've apparently recruited the best out there. They're meant to be, those midfielders that the Premier League is going to look at seasons to come and say that is the best you can get, really. That's why we brought them in. And unfortunately, it hasn't quite kicked off. We've bigged up Caicedo and Enzo since we brought them both in, right? That's the partnership that we couldn't wait to see. But I guess it'll be good to rotate, but until you work out something sustainable, only then can you sort of rotate. I still think that there's more to see from them two as a pair. Obviously, Lavia, I can't really say because I've not seen him. I saw great things from him at Southampton. If you replicate that, then brilliant. We're looking at another really good, solid midfielder. Gallagher, apparently his future is now a question mark at Chelsea, so God knows about that. But
what do you think about that?
I don't agree with it. I wouldn't sell Gallagher. I mean, look, I'm not going to lie to you. I probably wouldn't have minded selling him in summer, but after seeing the player that he's become, he's improved so much, and I like to put that on Poch as well. Partly worked out where he plays best. He's been so much better, and I think technically on the ball he's improved as well. He's not just offering press and running around in legs and stuff. He is doing that. A bit concerned about the fact that he's very, aggressive sometimes, and you're just, you're basically wanting to get a yellow card and get yourself sent off. But look, I wouldn't sell him. He's whatever you can say is kind of the old Chelsea now. Are we going to really sell all our sort of younger talent? And I hate to think that if we sell him to a rival Premier League club as well. I think that would be awful. I know a lot of people have now said in the last couple of games where he has maybe returned to his old self, yes, sell him, but nobody was saying that when they were calling him our best player at the start of the season. So I think he should stay.